When you're a kid, I don't think you really understand how fragile life is. When I was a kid, me and my friends used to go to this area that had a tree called the Nest that was pretty much all completely hardened up with vines. So we used to climb that tree and we used to be able to like sit on top of it, and we had no risk of falling through it because it was entirely held up by vines. But there were so many other trees around, and my friends eventually got to the point where they were bored and wanted to try climb these other trees that were significantly taller. So one by one, we all started climbing these different trees. And I didn't realize until I was pretty much at the top how tall these trees were. And in that moment, I thought, wow, if I would have fallen, that would have been really bad. So anyways, now I have a fear of heights. What I don't understand is why I have a fear of heights after an experience that didn't really scare me at the time, when I've had other experiences that have legitimately almost killed me. When I was thinking of that, I kind of thought to myself, I haven't really told any stories of near-death experiences that I've had. So I thought I'd tell you guys a couple stories from when I was a kid of near-death experiences I had. I can think of 3 off the top of my head, and I'll tell them in order of like, probably the most common to one that is really funny. Ironically, 2 of them happened while I was on holiday. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed these little stories, and I might do more of them if you guys care. So my first one is one of them that happened while I was on holiday. Now that I think about it, both of these holidays were to the Canary Islands. Different Canary Islands, but still to the same set of islands. But we was in Fuerteventura, which is one of the Canary Islands, and we went to a water park one day. Now, I fucking love water parks. That shit is so cool. I used to love that shit so much as a kid. But admittedly, I was not a very good swimmer. But you know what? It doesn't fucking matter because I can keep my head above the water, and that's what matters. Anyway, it's a really warm day there. We spent all day riding the different water slides. Me and my sister went through, I think, all of them because they were just really fun. But towards the end, my sister wanted to go into the wave pool. And I wanted to go there with her because I'd never experienced a wave pool before. My mom specifically tells my sister, you need to keep an eye on Koji because you know that Koji isn't a good swimmer, so I need you to keep your eye on them. My sister pouts a little bit, but she agrees with it, being like, fine, I'll look after them, whatever. And then as soon as we get into the wave pool, she drags me towards the deep end. Now, like I said, I could keep my head above the water, so it's not like I couldn't swim at all. I just wasn't very good at it, and this wave pool was packed. It was so full, to the point where I'm in the deep end swimming with my sister, and suddenly, she just gets lost. We are completely separated. So I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna find my way back to the shallow end. She can enjoy the deep end. If I just stay more towards the shallow end, I'll be okay. The problem is, as soon as I turned around, we heard an announcement. The wave pool is now starting. I didn't pay much mind to it. I didn't really care. I didn't think the wave pool was going to be that bad. All I was focused on was trying to make my way over to the shallow end of the pool. It was a big pool, by the way, so it took me a while to get over there. But while I was making my way over, I'm still in the deep end. I feel that the waves are coming. And at the same time, there's a man who's swimming past me to get to his friends. And he accidentally kicks me in the stomach. I am now in the deep end of the pool, completely winded and unable to breathe. Without exaggeration, I can barely swim as is, and now I'm winded and unable to breathe, and I am panicking. It also just so happens that these waves are getting much more intense and much higher. I can barely swim, I can barely breathe, I'm making my way over to the shallow end, the waves are pushing me under, and I am scared for my absolute life. The lifeguard cannot see me, my sister cannot see me, my mother cannot see me, and all I can see is about a second of people on the surface, and then water. Somehow, miraculously, I find my way over to the shallow end, to the point where I can stand up and just stand above the waves. And as soon as I stand up, I just feel a wave of relief, because I genuinely thought I was going to drown, and I just sobbed. I was absolutely terrified for my life, and I knew at that point that I just wanted to be out of the water. So I got out of the wave pool and I found my mom. I went over to my mom and I explained what happened through my absolute fucking meltdown I'm having. And my mom is just furious. She is so mad at my sister. She gave my sister one job, which was to look after me and make sure that that doesn't happen. and I almost drowned. I haven't been to a water park since. Not even because I don't want to, I just haven't been to one since. Would I go to another water park? Abso-fucking-lutely. I fucking love water parks. Would I go to another wave pool? Absolutely not. That's never happening again in my life. Anyways, story number 2 actually takes place on the home turf of England. When I was in high school, me and my friends used to bike everywhere. Like, if you could travel there by car, we would travel there by bike. Every single weekend, we would go out together. We'd go... Fuck, I don't want to list off specific locations. Alright, I'll just say we lived in a large town, and in the surrounding area was a small town and a village. We used to cycle between these 3 locations mainly, and we'd like meet up at these service stations where we'd get food together. We'd go to like Macca's, or we'd go to like KFC or something, back when KFC was good. And since we all lived separately, obviously a couple of us lived in the large town, a couple of us lived in the smaller town, a couple of us lived in the village, and obviously when we were done and ready to go home, we would split off, we'd go separate ways. But this night in particular, my friend who lived in the village wanted to come stay over at my place. Bearing in mind, he was like my best friend, so he stayed over all the time. His parents and my parents were really close. But to get from his place to my place, we'd have to go through the big town. Because of the area of England that I live in, it is super like hilly, so everything's like up and down hills. And from the big town to the little town, there's a huge hill that is downhill the entire way there. And I kid you not, every single time that my friend would stay over at my place, we would bomb that hill on our bikes, because it was the fastest way to get home. We were very used to going down that hill, and we'd go down that hill very fast. Like, as fast as our bikes would go. And because we were idiots, we also didn't wear helmets. Because, you know, helmets look stupid, so why would I wear one? Surely that's not foreshadowing for anything coming. As soon as we're at the top of the hill, we just lay out our plan for what we're gonna do. We're gonna bomb this hill, we're gonna go to Macca's, we're gonna get something to eat, and then we're gonna go home. So I called my mom when we were at the top of the hill, and I just said to her, we'll be home probably in about half an hour. We're gonna call to Macca's on the way home, probably call to the store as well, because we want to get some like sweets and shit, because usually when he'd come over, we'd play like horror games, or we'd watch like movies or something, and then we'd just go to sleep. But we pretty much said we're gonna go to Macca's, we're gonna fill up on some snacks, and then we're gonna make our way back. We should be home in about half an hour-ish. She says, okay, tells us to get home safe, and then hang up the phone, and we just bomb down the hill. I don't know what was up with us this day in particular. We were riding our bikes like absolute fucking morons. Like, we were never morons to the point that we'd be endangering other people, but we were definitely endangering ourselves. Anyways, we are going full speed down this hill. Like, we are outpacing cars down this hill. The road is relatively empty, because it's late. It's like I think it was like a Saturday or a Sunday or whatever, but it was late, so there weren't many people on the road. So we took advantage of that, and we wanted to go as fast as we could. We wanted to see how fast we could go. We were on like a 30-mile-an-hour road, I think. I don't know if we made it that fast. We probably made it to about 25, but we were still going pretty fast. Anyway, at some point while we're riding down, I think we rode a little bit too close to each other, and our bikes literally almost like got connected with each other. It was a very quick and very sudden like thing to happen, but it definitely was something that we got scared of like instantly, and it kind of like put it into perspective like how stupid we were being. It didn't stop us from bombing that hill without helmets, but it did stop us from riding like fucking idiots, like swerving all over the road for no reason. Even if the roads are empty, you shouldn't do that. But yeah, we both, like, as soon as we cleared that hill, we both looked at each other and were like, we could have very easily died there. Yeah. We had a good night though. We had a pretty solid night. We played Resident Evil 7 on my PlayStation VR. We had some snacks, and yeah, we were chilling. It was a very good night. But we definitely did not have a repeat of that accident. Me and that friend actually ended up becoming roommates for a few months, about a couple of years back. And I can say we never learned from our little silly shenanigans we used to do. So, yeah. And my final story takes us back to the lovely Canary Islands. Except this time, instead of it being Fuerteventura we went to, it was Gran Canaria. I've been to Gran Canaria countless times. I fucking love that place. It is beautiful. It's warm. But if there's one thing I hate about places like that, It's the fucking beach. Without exaggeration, I hate the beach. I hate sand. I hate the kelp or fucking seaweed or whatever it is in the water. When you go into the ocean and it wraps around your leg, it is so annoying and it grosses me out. But this beach in particular was really nice. Not the sand or anything, but there's a bunch of restaurants by the beach and there's a bunch of like shops and stuff like right next to the beach. Like you'd be sitting in the restaurant and you'd be able to you'd just be able to step out onto the sand or like go to the ocean or whatever, and it's completely open. It's pretty much covered by, what are they called? I think it's canopies. Anyways, me and my parents went eating at one of these restaurants underneath the canopies, and after we'd finished eating, we paired up everything, it was all good, and then we went onto the beach, and me and my mom thought it'd be cool to look for shells that we could take home to like put in the fish tank and stuff. We found a couple really nice shells, but there was one specific shell that I found which I thought looked awesome. I'd never seen a shell like that before. It was like just in the water, but I grabbed it, and the moment I grabbed it, I knew something was off with it because it fucking stunk real bad. But anyways, I took the shell to my mom and I was like, look how cool the shell is, and she was like, oh yeah, that is really cool. And then I was talking to her about how it's cool, but it kind of stinks. So she was like washing it out. There was like dirt or grime or something inside this shell. So she decided to like wave it about in the ocean a little bit, wash it out. Anyways, it stopped smelling, so put it in my pocket and I took it home. And I was watching a documentary about poisonous animals or like venomous animals. And there was a specific animal that came up that caught my interest called a cone snail. So what a cone snail is it's a highly venomous sea snail. It uses like a little barbie tooth thing to paralyze or kill fish or worms, and it then eats them. It uses like a peptide-based venom from what I remember, and it can be a really serious sting and can even be fatal to people. The reason it caught my attention so much is because I was like, wait a minute, this looks like the cone that I picked up on the beach when I was a kid. And yeah, turns out I picked up a cone snail, and I just didn't know. And it's been in my bedroom ever since. I kind of put two and two together and I realized that it was a cone snail, and the reason it stunk so bad was because it was clearly dead. But it never clicked to me that it very easily could have gone very wrong had the cone snail been alive. But yeah, the lesson here is don't pick up random shit that you don't know what it is. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my stories of how I almost got murked by a water park, murked by a bicycle, and murked by a snail. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know if you guys have any near-death experiences. I'll see you later.